Whenever a healthy child is born, an old person must die. The old man, looking at his daughter who just gave birth to his grandson, his face is solemn and he feels helpless. Despite his reluctance to let go, he can only caress his daughter's cheek one last time, kiss her forehead, and bid farewell to his lifelong wife before rushing towards the cliff and leaping off. Because in 2034, an unknown virus swept across the globe, almost all mainland areas were invaded by the virus. Only an island in the North Sea remained the last pure land for humanity. But due to the scarcity of resources on the island, it only allows 513 people to survive. So whenever a newborn arrives, one person must die. To prevent outsiders carrying the virus from breaking in, they used giant ships to form an impenetrable wall around the perimeter. However, not long after the old man jumped off the cliff for his newborn grandson, the doctor discovered that the woman was actually carrying twins. At this point, there were 514 islanders. Inevitably, one person had to be sacrificed. So the island committee decided to vote to decide the fate of the bottom 3 ranked residents. During the meeting, the low-ranking residents began to fear for their lives because the island adopted a points-based ranking system. All 513 residents had to participate in work to earn points, and based on their individual abilities and conduct, the amount of points determined their ranking. Jack saw his name appear in the bottom 3 and was so scared that he immediately sat up. Once selected, he would be put in a pig cage to drown. Thinking of this, Jack's legs went limp, not knowing what to do. However, Tom beside him told him to stay calm. Tom's mother was the island's leader. When the time comes, she will surely find a way to help Jack out of trouble. The second to last was an old woman who relied on her granddaughter for survival. The last one was David, a carpenter who had committed a serious crime. Seeing the ranking, David was devastated. He had already turned over a new leaf and worked sincerely every day, yet his ranking was still the lowest. The old woman, in order to survive, actually tried to secretly take the baby away while the pregnant woman was asleep, but she was still caught red-handed by the pregnant woman. She could only leave in embarrassment. Soon the day of the voting conference arrived. Everyone present had the right to vote for the bottom 3 to decide who would die to make room for the newborn baby. The island leader first announced a piece of good news. Jack, who was 3rd from the bottom, moved up 1 place because he had done a good deed a few days ago, so he was given an additional 10 points. Tom smiled knowingly. It turned out that 3 days ago, when distributing supplies, a boy bumped into the doctor and broke a can. Under Tom's instructions, Jack immediately shared his apple with the other party. At this moment, Tom's mother pretended to show up and loudly praised his kind-hearted behavior, immediately giving him additional points. It seems that having privileges makes a difference. Just like that, Jack publicly left the bottom ranks. An unfortunate woman took his place, but fortunately, during the show of hands vote, only a dozen people voted for her. When it came to the old woman, the number of votes suddenly increased to 50. At this point, the carpenter realized that something was wrong because he was still at the bottom. Although he had the doctor explain his behavior, the islanders still cast 200 votes for him. It seemed that he could not escape the pig cage this time. Just as the island leader was about to announce the voting results, the carpenter's wife suddenly stood up. She revealed a secret that dropped everyone's jaws.